Everybody, welcome back to the Closet Studio. This is episode 21, and before I get too far into it, I wanted to dedicate today's webcast, whatever you call it, to a local musician who passed away recently, a friend of mine who I went to high school with. His name is Cameron Brownfield, and just want to talk a little bit about him, just because I felt like I wanted to. I didn't know him super well, but I knew him well enough. I went to high school with him. I was in a band with him, at least one band, I'm sure. And I ran into him often in the local music community, and really that's what it's about for me. It's like he was a part of our community, my community of musicians. And so when I learned of his passing, I felt it, and it made an impression on me. He was one of, so back in high school when I first kind of learned about him and stuff, he was one of those types of musicians. There's a few of them in my high school that at that age I already looked up to him. He was way better than I ever was or ever have become, even at that age, on his instrument. He just had a technical superiority over me that made me look up to him and kind of like appreciate what he was able to offer. And then when I got to, that was in high school days. And then, as the journey of life takes you, I went off, did my thing. And it was really cool, to have so many, when I came back around to the local kind of music scene of Seattle, or when I got into the local music scene of Seattle, is really awesome when you start seeing people from other parts of your life, like high school. And there's we went to Franklin High School in South Seattle, and there was actually a really pretty strong representation of kids and people from my high school that play music in the local scene. And it's really cool to follow their careers and watch what they're doing and be a part of that and have that camaraderie when you do run into them at a show, or you share a bill with them, or you are, if you're lucky enough or whatever, to get to be in a band with them. And the band that I played with Cameron, I'm not sure if I mentioned it before, but I played in a band called the Joni Mitchells, and there we are, I guess. That's me on the side, and Jeremy Lightfoot, Cameron, Kevin Zaka, and CJ Stout. We were all in this band together, and it was one of those situations, like everybody in this picture, technically better musicians than I am, without a question. I wish I was what I ended up playing in the band was bass, and Jeremy Lightfoot is one of Seattle's better bass players. So being able to play in a band with a bass player like Jeremy Lightfoot as the lead member of it was pretty intimidating. We were friends and everything, but he's just a really talented bass player, and I tried to use it, and I did use it as an opportunity to become better myself. And I wish I was the bass player I am today when I would join that band, because it's just I'm in a different place with my bass playing, and I really enjoyed that. But that was he kind of jump-started my bass playing kind of abilities, and so I spent some time with Jeremy doing that. But as well, with Kevin Saga and Cameron in the band, it's like I had to do my homework. I had to make sure I kept up with those guys, because they were, like I already said, technically better than me. So it's just one of those things, one of those situations. But I'm fortunate to have had, to have known Cameron and been a part of his life, and be, to just know him. So I just wanted to mention that, just kind of dedicate this video journal to Cameron. But I'm going to move on to some other stuff. Like I said, it's episode 21. It's been a second since I've made one of these. Kind of, a lot of reasons. Just I've been busy doing stuff, working on music and other things. But I also kind of got a little depressed and jaded about the whole process, and just because I'm working on Peace and Love Volume 3, which is really close to being done this week. I will be done with it this week. It's Monday now. I'm recording this. This is probably going to be a longer episode, because there's a lot to say, because it's been a while, but I've just been thinking about a lot of things. But I'll be done this week, and the last piece of it I have to do is I need a banjo player. and I've reached out to some of my friends, and they weren't able to help me, so I put a thing on Facebook, and just today I was like, hey, anybody know a banjo player? And I got in contact with somebody, so it looks like possibly the middle of this week, Wednesday or Thursday, I'll be able to record that part and I will be done. So, but regardless, if it doesn't work out, I'm going to release the songs anyway and just move forward. I'm just gonna not have that part on there. But kind of go back to why I've been kind of down on things lately is just the struggle. Like, I don't know, a lot of musicians, a lot of artists have with wanting to pursue their craft and not being able to, wanting to do more with their craft and not being able to, or not feeling like you're able to. And there are some practical things. It's like, I hope you know by now that, I try not to let too much stand in my way. I just keep working on what I want to work on and keep going forward, no matter what it may be, whatever situations are happening. I try not to let money get in my way. I try not to let, lack of, things, I guess. I don't know how to play it. Lack of gear or whatever. I work with what I got. I do the best I can, and I just try to keep going forward. But there are the practical things where I do have to go to a job. I do have to make money. I do have to pay rent. I do have to do all those things. And, it's not always all that satisfying to have to go do those things, and that you can't spend time on your music, or if you have an idea and you want to get it done, or if you like what I did. So this round of recordings with Peace and Love Volume 3, I've been developing my production abilities over this year. We're working on Peace and Love Volume 1 and 2, and then getting to 3, and then this round of recordings is just superior to what I did before. I mean, my mindset and how I'm listening to the music and everything that's going on, what I've learned on Ableton, what I've, all the pieces are falling into place in a way that I feel like it's going to be 5 songs, and these 5 songs are just superior in their construction and the way they've been put together, and their sound, just everything's superior about them. So, and in that, if I hear an idea, if I want an idea to take place, I don't want to compromise that by not doing it, even though I just said I'm possibly not going to do the banjo part if it doesn't come through. But it's a game of like waiting, because if I want a vocalist to help me on something, I have to schedule and wait. You just can't just do it, because I don't have the money to hire somebody, so I'm hoping that people will help me out, or dealing with schedules, or people not responding. It really kind of baffles me in a way, like how often I reach out to somebody and they just blow me off, and it's like it's like, I don't know, it's just one of those things that's really weird for me to deal with, and I don't know, it's just weird. but I don't know, I'm really close to getting this done. I'm hoping to have it done earlier, but it is what it is, and it'll be done this week, thankfully. Really, I'm just super excited about it. I hope it sounds as good to you guys as I feel it sounds. So part of the process of putting this out, I'm going to put it out on our Bandcamp site. And then I'm going to kind of do, like I mentioned before, my feelings around Kickstarter and like those kind of crowdfunding type ideas. And I don't know, I'm not really that, I don't really get them totally, but, let me explain what I'm going to do. I'm going to, instead of doing any kind of Kickstarter with it, because I need some money to be able to put it out, just distribute it further than just on Bandcamp. Bandcamp, who knows about Bandcamp? Hardly any people really know about Bandcamp. iTunes is really the main thing. People that consume music know iTunes. They probably know like Amazon MP3, they might know like Google Play's thing, but iTunes is the biggest one. And in order to get our music on iTunes, we put it through a service called CD Baby, but it costs money to do that. And it's not a lot of money, but it's more money than I have right now with all the other responsibilities I have. So I can't do that personally. So what I'm going to do is when I release the music on Bandcamp, I'm going to ask people to actually buy it, like do an intentional kind of release of it, you know, go to my friends and family and my Facebook people and be like, here's our music. Will you help support us and get it into a bigger distribution channel by actually buying it, even though I'm going to give it away for free at first, because that's what we do with all our music. The first month or so, I just put it online and let people download it for free. So, and that's, you know, if people can't support me financially that way, that's fine. I'm going to ask people to support me in other ways, like to help share it, and if they like it. I mean, it all boils down to, if you like what we're doing, if you want to support music, if you want to support our music, you know, help us in that way. But it's not, you know, I'd rather have people that actually believe in what we're doing help us than it just be something thrown away, you know, some thought that's, you know, than not, you know, basically. I'd rather have somebody that's like, I want to see them succeed, so they help us, you know, in other ways. So I don't know, that's part of that. The recording's almost done. I'm really excited about it. A little bit about the recording. So I've learned this whole mastering, mixing. I'm going to try to sum up. I've talked about mastering before in some of my earlier videos. I've talked about mixing. I've talked about some ideas, but I'm going to sum up some of what I've learned, and I might repeat some things. But basically, where I'm at right now. So I got my master channel. In mastering my tracks, I basically use an equalizer, compression, and then stereo expander, and then the hard limiter, the last limiter that boosts it all up. And so, in order to master your record or your song the best you can, I've discovered that while you're mixing it, in the mixing process, it's super important to not have your levels getting near 0 dB. When you're basically on most faders, when you're using your DAW or whatever, your computer program, you know, there's a line right at 0 dB, and that's, you know, I used to mix, and so everything kind of just barely kisses that, but I've discovered that's a bad idea, because, you know, if you put an equalizer, if you manipulate your sound, or if you need to adjust it, and you have to adjust it past that, it messes everything up down the line. So while you're in the mixing process, making sure you bring down all your levels, and you're kind of like, your meter's bouncing about 2/3 of the way or half of the way between the bottom line and that 0 dB marker, that's kind of a good place to be. And then, you know, what I've noticed as I mixed in the past, I'd start with the drums. I'd have the drums at a set level, and then I'd mix around the drums. I'd raise my guitar, I'd raise things, and then I noticed it was like it just started to push everything always seemed to go up. It was like, instead of, you know, I'd raise levels, I'd always push something up. I'd hear something and go, oh, that needs to be louder. It's always like, it's always about what needs to be louder. But I think it's important to reverse that thinking and say, what should I bring down to match something else? So if you feel like you're always making things louder, go, okay, wait a second, I need my vocals are not loud enough. Why don't I bring everything else down to get my vocals louder? So you stay in this nice place underneath that 0 dB place without getting too close to it, because then you're in a low place. And what I just do is I run my computer through an external mixer, a Mackie mixer that then goes to the monitors out here. When I'm in that on the mixer itself, on my external mixer, I just raise the volume there so I can hear everything I need. But inside the computer, it's actually a pretty low place, so that when I then go back to my master track, that last channel, after I'm done mixing everything and making it sound right, there I put on the EQ, which usually you boost kind of things. It kind of livens up things, so you don't threaten hitting that 0 dB by boosting the EQ. Then you put on some compression that usually boosts a little things, and then it's that. So you save it kind of for that last hard limit. You get everything nice, sounding nice, and then that last hard limiter, you raise it up to where you want it, to that 0 dB marker. You just kind of go, okay, everything sounds really good. Let's just boost it all up, hit that 0 dB mark, and then you're good to go. I don't know. That's what I discovered works really well. Because if something's peaking in your mix before it even gets to the master, when you're trying to master it, I discovered that it would start to over compress. It would start to do things weird and sound really bad. And so I was like, why does this sound bad? Like, why am I not getting the most out of this? And I discovered through trial and error that, I need to bring down a lot of my mix before I boost it all in the master track. So that's what I've learned there. And it seems like it's working out pretty good. In this whole process of like, the Peace and Love Volume 3 just sounds it sounds so much better than Peace and Love Volume 1 and 2 when we have online, that I've gone back into them. I was planning to do this later on down the line, but I couldn't handle the first two releases not sounding as good as this, because, it's like, all these songs are, my babies basically, and I just want, I didn't feel like they're being represented as good as they should be, and now it's like Peace and Love Volume 3, I finally feel like this music represents what I'm capable of as a musician, and I hope that when it goes out, people actually, the bottom line for me is I want people, if you boil it all down, what I want more out of anything when it comes to the music that I'm putting out for consumption like this is I want people to actually want it, to download it, to put it on their iPod, to listen to it. Anything beyond that is icing on the cake. I just want people to actually want it on their rotation and want it to come up and be in their iPod, put it on a playlist. I don't know. I want them to actually want to listen to it, not listen to it out of obligation, not listen to it, because I'm trying to get them to do it. That's my goal. Eventually, I hope to make some kind of music that people will go, I like the sound of that. I want that on my playlist. I want to find out more about that. I want that on my Spotify or whatever the way you listen to music. I want that to happen. A couple other things, kind of lose your train of thought as you sit here and talk. But one of the things that I've been doing a lot lately is listening to podcasts. So I was inspired. Kind of the podcast idea inspired these videos for me, and then the kind of the YouTube / podcast world inspired me to want to make these videos. But then I've been listening to more strictly audio podcasts, and I really feel like that's a possible good avenue for me to express myself musically and what I like. And one of the things, so I had this idea that I'm going to start a local music podcast, and I'm in the kind of research phase right now. I have to do a lot more research. I've been listening to podcasts more, but I want to do like an hour-long show twice a month or something like that, where I do play local music, local music focus, but not necessarily exclusively, but local music focus, and hopefully have like friends that I know, other musicians, come in and be a part of it, do interview type things as well, but actually play music. So hopefully look for that down the line, and I'll let you know more about that. And then, so just to broaden it out to do one of my little music reviews, I guess. So every year I pick a theme song. This year it's taken me a while to find my theme song for this year, but I found one finally, and I'm actually blanking on the name. It's by David Guetta, and it's Lovers on the Sun, I believe it's called. And I think it actually just came out, really. I heard it on C89 the other day driving to work, and I was like, this sounds pretty cool. I like this, and kind of got more into it and downloaded it, and I really enjoy that song. So check it out if you want. David Guetta's Lovers on the Sun. It's what I like about it, and what it's kind of like. I feel like there's a possible trend that's going to start happening, and I feel like this electronic music and how it's the way it's going to affect this EDM. I mean, so electronic music clearly has already affected pop music and things like that, and it's affected it for a long, since the 80s basically, like, and even before that a little bit, but in the way, there's a new sound that I hear coming out, and it's this rock electronic hybrid thing that's coming out. And like Avicii did it with his song, it's like Wake Me Up, and you hear it more and more, and it's basically what we're doing. It's what the Zim and A-Rock is doing as well, and maybe that's why I like it, because I feel like we're using the two ideas. We're using pop, rock, folk, and electronic in a way that's not necessarily being used a lot right now, but it's happening, you know, and this song by David Guetta is one of those examples. So check it out. Love to hear what you think. And, you know, of course, I guess that'll wrap it up. I feel like I've mentioned everything I wanted to. Got the Peace and Love Volume 3 going to be out this week, or by the end of this week. You know, so I'm just gonna, you know, that's what I want to work on tonight. I'm gonna continue mixing. Oh, and yeah, like I said, I went back and I remastered all the early songs, the Peace and Love Volume 1 and 2, and I'll put those out on Bandcamp for now, as well. They won't, unfortunately, I have no control over what's on iTunes and all those other places. I can't just freely upload or switch out music there. So I'll put it out on SoundCloud, I'll put it out on Bandcamp and have it there until we're done. We have plans to do 4 more songs with our friend TJ Barry. And we're going to go into his studio and record 4 more songs, so that by the end of the year we'll have a total of right around probably 13 songs, maybe more. I have a plan to do 1 song on my own here in the studio again, but we'll see. But we'll have the kind of the year's worth of Peace and Love Volumes 1 through 4 will be done, and I want to put those out as a complete collection, and then when that happens, I'll upload all those songs to iTunes or whatever through CD Baby, so they'll all be as one complete collection. But anyways, that's part of what's going on. That's what I'm planning on doing. And thanks for watching. This is theZim's Video Journal, episode 21, and subscribe to this video, like the Zim and A-Rock on Facebook. And I hope to see you at a show. I hope you'll download our music when it comes out, and download and listen to what's available right now. I mean, it's ready for you to be a part of it. So do that, and all right, I'll talk to you next time.